morning tiptoed into Clearvale Village. Dew made every leaf sparkle, and the air smelled like warm bread and wet grass. On the village path lay a small feather that glowed like sunshine. It shimmered gently, as if it had fallen from a very special place. Luna found the feather first. She held her lantern close, and the feather's light danced on the glass. Kai hurried over, and his tiny fox padded right beside him. The fox sniffed the air, ears perked, as if it could smell the sparkle. Luna and Kai looked from the feather to the faraway hills. The feather pulsed softly, like it was asking to be carried home. Luna carefully picked it up. It felt light as a whisper, and warm as a sunbeam on her skin. Kai packed a small satchel with a cloth and a snack. The fox bounced in place, ready for an adventure. Together they headed for the village gate. The feather's glow stayed steady in Luna's hands, guiding them like a tiny sunrise. Outside the village, the world opened wide and bright. A narrow trail waited, and the morning air hummed with new day sounds. They waved goodbye to the sleepy rooftops. The path ahead smelled like ferns and clean earth. They walked side by side, listening to the soft crunch of the trail. Ferns tickled their legs, and the feather shone like a friendly lamp. Fernwhisper Trail was bright and friendly. Sunlight poured through leaves, and little bugs glittered like floating specks of gold. They stepped into the sea of ferns. The feather's glow seemed to tug gently forward, and they followed. Luna held the feather near a sunlit leaf. The two lights looked like cousins, both warm and kind. Kai and the fox found a faint sparkle on the ground. It looked like a trail of tiny sundots leading onward. A little bridge waited under a leafy tunnel. The air felt cooler there, and the world sounded quieter, like it was listening. They crossed carefully, step by step. The feather stayed safe in Luna's hands, glowing softly the whole time. Ahead, the greens shifted into golden colors. The day grew warmer, and the path promised something new. They left the tall ferns behind. The feather's glow brightened, as if it recognized the way. They walked through dancing shadows and warm light. Each step felt like part of a gentle, shining game. Amberleaf Grove glowed like a bowl of warm tea. Golden leaves rustled softly, and the moss looked as comfy as a blanket. They entered slowly, careful not to disturb the drifting sparkles. The feather hummed with light, pointing toward the tallest trees. On the moss lay a spiral of leaves, placed as neatly as a picture. It looked like a sign made by the wind. Luna carefully set one leaf back into place. The spiral seemed to settle, as if it liked being tidy. Kai and the fox explored a tree hollow. A few tiny seeds floated out, and the fox sneezed softly into the warm air. They looked up at the canopy where sunbeams made bright ladders. The feather glowed stronger, as if it wanted to climb into the sky. Beyond the grove, something glittered and moved. The sound of water called softly, like a friendly bell. They left the golden leaves behind and followed the sparkle. The day leaned into afternoon, slow and calm. The ground changed from soft moss to cool stones. Pebbles felt round and clean under their steps. Shimmerstone stream sang its watery song. Sunlight skipped across the ripples, and everything looked freshly washed. They came to the water's edge. Kai tested the stream with his fingers, and Luna held the feather high and dry. Under the water, the stones shone like smooth marbles. The stream hurried along, but it wasn't loud, just busy. Luna searched for the safest stepping stones. The feather's warm glow reflected on the water like a little sun. Kai let the fox test a stone with quick little hops. A few drops splashed, and the fox shook its fur like a tiny puff of orange. They crossed slowly from stone to stone. Kai steadied Luna, and Luna kept the feather safe, glowing like a careful promise. On the far side, the land rose up into wide grasses. The wind sounded like a soft whoosh, and the sky began to glow warmer. They left the stream's song behind them. The feather's glow stayed bright, leading them uphill. Up they climbed through swaying grass. The wind felt cool on their cheeks, but the sun was still warm. Breezeglint Pass opened wide like a green blanket on the mountains. Shadows grew longer, and the light turned honey gold. They stepped into the windy meadow. Luna covered the feather so it wouldn't fly away, and Kai watched the ridges ahead. In the grass, a stone marker showed a carved sun. It pointed the way without using any words. Luna held the feather beside the sun carving. The glow grew steady, like it had found a match. Kai climbed a boulder to see farther, and the fox balanced beside him. Up ahead, a rocky ledge caught the brightest light. They headed for a sheltered notch between rocks. The wind softened there, and the feather glowed like a tiny campfire. Beyond the notch was a ledge painted with sunset colors. The sky blushed pink, and birds glided without a sound. They left the wide meadow and entered the rocks. The light ahead looked like it was waiting just for them. They moved slowly along the narrow path. Pebbles clicked, and Luna kept the feather snug and steady. Suncrown Ledge was bathed in sunset glow. In a quiet nook of stones, a nest rested like a little bed made of grass. They stepped onto the ledge as softly as they could. The feather brightened near the nest, as if it finally recognized home. The nest looked cozy and safe. It held other feathers too, all resting quietly in the warm light. Luna placed the sun-kissed feather into the nest. Its glow softened, like a sigh of relief. Luna and Kai watched for a moment, very still. The air felt peaceful, as if the ledge itself was saying thank you. The sun slid lower, and the sky turned lavender. One by one, small stars blinked awake. With the feather safe, they started back. Luna's lantern took over as the evening light began to fade. They walked away from the glowing ledge. The path looked different now, softer under the coming night. They went down carefully in the twilight. The lantern made a warm little pool of light that followed their feet. The high meadow was quiet in the evening. Far below, tiny lights from home twinkled like friendly fireflies. They crossed the meadow with gentle steps. The night song of insects began, soft and steady. Down by the stream, moonlight made the water shine like silver. The ripples carried tiny star reflections downstream. Kai paused so the fox could take a small drink. The water looked cool and clean, and everything felt slower and sleepier. They crossed the stream once more, guided by the lantern's glow. Each step made a tiny splash that sparkled and then disappeared. Amberleaf Grove was quiet and dreamy at night. Fireflies floated between trees, blinking softly like little lanterns. They walked through the grove as if inside a bedtime story. The lantern and the moon made the path gentle and safe. At last, Clearvale Village came into view again. Warm window lights glowed like hugs in the dark. Inside, everything felt warm and safe. Steam curled up from a cup, and the room smelled like herbs and clean wool. Luna set her lantern down and let it glow softly. The light was small now, perfect for sleepy eyes. Kai took off his satchel, and the fox gave a big, cozy yawn. The adventure felt far away, like a happy dream already. They snuggled under blankets and listened to the quiet. Outside, the stars kept watch, and inside, the lantern breathed a tiny warm glow. The night sky looked smooth and deep. Everything was still, as if the whole village had settled into a lullaby. Luna's eyes grew heavy and calm. She felt glad, knowing the feather was safely home. Kai's breathing slowed, and the fox curled closer. Together they looked like a soft little pile of warmth. The lantern dimmed to a tiny spark, and the moonlight stayed kind. In the hush of night, Luna and Kai drifted off to sleep, wrapped in warmth and peaceful dreams.